let's stick with June, right?
Okay.
So they'll say on June 1st, they'll walk up and they'll say, we want you to do this work starting June 2nd.
Right.
Ready, go.
Go.
Okay. Now, depending on your contract,
Okay.
if it's time and material,
Okay.
then you fill out tickets.
Right.
They sign the tickets,
Right.
they approve it.
Right.
Okay. If you price it lump sum,
Right.
and your guys have started working, we're
Right.
working.
Right.
Okay, 1 week, 15 days,
Right.
10 days, I get the change order in,
Okay.
right? Then it takes them another 15 days, 10, 15 days
Process.
to approve it,
Right.
All the while, I'm still expending costs,
You're working.
right? Okay, we get to 15 days later, they decide, they don't really like it, they want to negotiate it, because they have that right.
Okay.
So then they negotiate it, we're about 15 days later,
Okay.
okay? I'm still expending all this cost,
And you're still working.
I'm still working, okay, we get it negotiated.
Right.
Great, it's the middle of the month.
It's set. Right.
I
Now-
gotta wait another 15 days
15
before I
days to
can
get
bill it.
paid.
Now I'm done working, and now I gotta wait another 30 days till I can collect it. So I've expended all this cost that I haven't accounted for anywhere else in here, right? And I'm not getting paid for 30 days, so I'm taking out a loan to cover that 30 days. Or I'm lucky enough that I have enough built up in the bank.
There's also one other item on the change orders. Some projects or a lot of them, when you issue a change order, they allow for larger overhead and profit to offset that loss that's going to happen on the loan. For example, your overhead and profit on a project on a general contract was 7%. A lot of change orders that they happen, they allow you to go up to 11% or 10% for your overhead and profit.
That's what I was talking.
Yeah, so that money
Covered your-
offsets that loss, right? Because that loss came out of, not you, must have been an error on the drawing, the architect might have made an error, the engineer might have made an error, and then you shouldn't be penalized for it. So at the beginning of the contract, when you negotiate your contract, a lot of general contractors establish that additional percentage
For any change.
for any change order.
It gets eaten up really fast though.
Yeah.
Your change orders, contrary to popular belief, you don't make a lot of money on change orders in general. You typically have to allocate more staff. You have to, it's just complicated. And so you're carrying the cost, you're allocating more staff, you've spent more time with your guys, so your guys have already planned all this work, how they were gonna do it, now they've got to re-plan. Any contractor that tells you they're making a lot of money on a change order, or they're a change order contractor, is doing something that myself and no other contractor that I've worked with know how to do, because you're just not making that much. You're getting offset, you're getting your costs covered, you're gonna make your profit, but it's not you wanna go in and build the building and walk away.
It's not the norm.
And that's
Yeah.
the issue with the change order, is also an issue of reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Because typically, if a job has anywhere from above 5% change order, then that job comes under scrutiny.
It's a lot of change orders.
Yeah, they will come under scrutiny and you start having it audited. And whoever the client is, you start raising questions. If it's a public money, then it's even worse. Usually a project, if it can stay within 3% to 5%, you're pretty good. And so, you really can't make up a lot of costs, but you just have to make sure that you prove everything very clearly, that look, this came out because of this and this and this, that's why we are doing an extra work. But at the same time, if you charge a little bit more on your overhead and profit, you will offset that loss.
Yes.
But you can't really ride on jobs that have a lot of change orders, even though the change orders haven't come from the sub or haven't been caused by the subcontractor or the general, they still drag everyone into it.
And the owners aren't educated. So you have very few educated owners out there. And that's not to say that you won't run into one that's educated, but most owners think that when they bought this building, they bought everything. when they got the architect to draw them this brilliant dream that they had, and they hired this contractor to build it, that's it. That's the end of all they have to do is pay out the money and everything's gonna be perfect. So you have to continue, like, you have to educate your owner, because owners, they're typically not educated in construction, and just like what he was saying, if you have change orders, they're gonna be pissed because they thought they already bought the building. Now why do they have to build this, why do they have to buy this door again? You know? Okay, so just to wrap up real quick, if you wanna go to the next slide. Okay, so we've touched on this already. A lot of times things don't go by plan. We have change orders that happen. We have payments that don't get approved as we wanted. We have schedules that shift. All sorts of things can happen. So what tools do you have? You can take out business loans. We've touched on that. You can, there's also payment terms you can do with your vendors and suppliers. So the most common one is paid when paid, which we've talked about a little bit already. The thing to remember with paid when paid, does everyone know what that means? You don't pay the next person in line until you've been paid. So the owner pays the general contractor, then the general contractor pays the sub, then the sub pays their vendors, okay? The thing to remember with that in California is it's technically illegal to have paid when paid. It's so common that everybody does it, everybody agrees to it, everybody signs contracts to it. When that relationship gets burnt down, and when you have a problem, is when that's going to bite you in the rear end. Because in California, it's 7 or 10 days that you have to pay. You have to pay within 7 or 10 days. And so that paid when paid goes out the window if you're fighting. And that gets ugly. There's also 30 days upon receipt of invoice. That's just like your bills at home. When you receive the invoice, you have 30 days to pay it. On the flip side of that, you can get early payment discounts from vendors. You can negotiate that in. So we have negotiated with some vendors, if we pay them within 7 days, then they'll give us a 10, 15, 20% discount, whatever it is. And then that helps with our cash flow, because instead of paying $200,000, all of a sudden we're paying $180,000. All of a sudden we're paying $190,000. It just adds that little bit of cushion into your bank for when you get those change orders. And then if you are able to manage all that, it adds to your bottom line. So, in summary, in total summary, cash flow management is just more money coming in than going out. At all times, you want more money coming in than going out. And you control that by knowing your contract. Know your contract. Know what your contract terms are. Read your contract 50 times until you have it memorized. In all aspects of construction, if you know your contract better than the next person, you are better off in all regards. You will win every argument. You will get everything your way. You need to know your contract. Even if you choose not to follow it, you need to know what it says, so you're consciously choosing not to follow it. Estimating when your expenses are going to occur, and then backing that into creating your schedule of values that allows you to collect money to stay cash positive. That's cash flow management in summary. So that we're not going to get to change order management because I'm not going to keep talking. So I put in your packets, I think you should have my name and some contact information. So feel free at any time, you're working on a group project, you're whatever, feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to help. I'm kind of nerdy, I like school, so feel free to call or email or anything like that if you ever need anything.
What school did you work on? You said the school.
This particular job is Garfield High School in
Okay.
East LA. So
Let's have a big hand for